All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the WebEx session. I know that you came from a Zoom session, so thank you very much for making it here. I also know that this is an after lunch session, so I hope everybody had their afternoon coffee or whatever that you need to take in to keep you awake. We're going to be together for at least about 45 minutes and make sure that I'll be on time. And our topic today is really SASE. SASE your way, define your own journey. And I'll describe later on as we go along as to why the title is so. For those of you who remember, you might be wondering what that image is on the right side of the screen, Journey Under the Sea. It's actually what is called the Choose Your Own Adventure book. Okay, so anybody who remembers this book series, umami na kayo ng edad because this book series came out during the mid-80s and I think they stopped publication mga early 2000s if I'm not mistaken. But during the time when I was young and when I was in elementary and high school, we had no internet. So the only source of entertainment back then, other than TV's books, so magano kayo. For everybody else in the audience, if you know and remember what this book is, please give a thumbs up or use the icon buttons in the emoticons just so Ataman and I know na hindi lang kami nakakaintindi nito. So how does this book work? It's a choose your own adventure book. It's basically a very simple it's a simple book. So pag nagbabasa ka while you're reading it, there will be a part in one page of the book that will ask you what you want to do next. So if you want to, for example, open the left door, turn to page 14. If you want to open the right door, page 26. So ganun ang gagawin mo. You will open page 14, page 26, and then the story will continue on from there. So magsasanga yung storya depending on the choice that you made. That's why it's called Choose Your Own Adventure. Now, sometimes the ending is not good. Sometimes the ending is fantastic. There are multiple endings. So I chose this image for this particular edition, this particular topic. That particular book, Journey Under the Sea, it has 42 different endings, di ba? So for those of you who are contemporaries naman, kung pinanood nyo naman yung Avengers, remember the scene where Doctor Strange, remember the scene where Doctor Strange was looking at 14,007 different endings of the scenario, and there's only one scenario wherein the Avengers will actually win. So parang ganun din, no? I chose this so that you can understand what we mean by choosing your own journey, choosing your own adventure. So my name is Herns. I'm the Meraki product lead for Cisco Philippines. Please take note of my email address right there, hehermid@cisco.com, just in case you have any questions. Okay, let's start first with the textbook definition of what SASE is. SASE is actually a term that was coined by Gartner. So the definition of Neil McDonald from Gartner says that SASE is an emerging offering. Well, it's no longer emerging because it's already in market, that combines comprehensive WAN capabilities with comprehensive network security functions to support the dynamic, secure access needs of digital enterprises. Okay, so that's the textbook definition. But really, what does it mean to you? Okay, so first of all, let's try to understand first yung mundo na tinatakbo natin, the world that we are operating in, especially if you are in IT, you're in networking, in your networking security. First of all, we live in a multi-cloud world. It is no longer uncommon for an organization, no matter how big or small, that you would use one or even more than one cloud service. So you may be using the most popular collaboration cloud in the world, which is Office 365. Some of you might be using Google Workspace. You would be having your application running on AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, or you may have your own private cloud or any combination thereof. Now, so that means that resources and workloads are now starting to move from on-premise to data centers. You already know that, no? Marami na tayong mga situations where applications are moving from not just data centers, but also in the cloud as well, using AWS, Azure, GCP. So now we have the scenario where it is hybrid. Merong mga applications na nasa data center ninyo, merong mga data centers na nandun sa cloud. These are increasingly being hosted in multiple cloud environments because any self-respecting CIO, I think, or the technology decision makers do not want to put their eggs in one basket. So it's not uncommon, for example, to have some of your systems on Azure, pero ang backup niya sa AWS. Meron namang situations na yung production system mo nasa AWS, ang backup mo nasa Azure, and then you have GCP for analytics, for example, and then you're using Office 365. If you're using Office 365, that's another cloud. branches and remote users equally need to have access to these cloud services, and they also use direct internet access. Some of them use direct internet access kasi the logic being, since nasa cloud na siya, you should be able to access them using direct internet. Now, you have both remote users, like for example myself, I'm actually sitting here at home doing this webinar, and possibly most of you are actually at home as well, and you also have users in the branches as well, or in the branch offices. So what happens now is that your network sort of looks like this. Everything is still concentrated around the data center in the campus. Remote workers, VPN, may mga branch offices kayo na kung ano-ano ang ginagamit to connect to the campus. It may be traditional MPLS, IPVPN, or even internet connection. But still, you also have remote workers that connect to the branch office via VPN as well. But again, your application is all over the place. You have applications, you have apps running on the cloud. You need to connect to the internet for other cloud services or for general internet access. You have your own private cloud hosted, for example, in a co-location facility, and you're using Office 365 or Google Workspace. Now, what happens here is that you have inconsistent branch policies which create risks. So hindi pare-pareho yung security settings ninyo sa bawat branch. The campus also becomes a bottleneck, creating suboptimal application performance, inconsistent. You may be sitting in the campus, syempre mabilis ang internet, mabilis ang connections applications because your internet is concentrated around the campus. But if you're sitting in the branch, that performance may be entirely different. Remote users also present new security and performance challenges. It's not only the internet connection that they use at home or where they are, or their remote connectivity, but also other security settings as well. And as the network/security administrator, I would be concerned about not having full visibility of everything. I cannot see the cloud usage, users, or traffic patterns. Now, again, workloads have moved to the cloud or continuing to move to the cloud. If I were to do a quick informal survey right now for you to raise your hands, use the WebEx emotion buttons. How many of you have most of your applications already on the cloud today? Okay, so just press a thumbs up or press the thumbs up emoticon or press the clap emoticon just so that I know. But the point here is that most of your applications are now moving to the cloud. So now we also now have to be concerned with the impact on security and experience of the user. There's also a challenge with managing direct internet access. In the beginning, when people started remote users and when we moved our applications to the cloud, a lot of people thought nasa internet na yan, it's on the cloud, so therefore people should be able to access those applications directly using direct internet access. So maglalagay ka lang ng broadband connection dun sa branch office, or you would allow a user that uses their own home DSL or 4G or 5G connection to connect to the internet. The applications to the internet. But the problem that therein lies the problem. A majority of attacks found were from the branch offices or remote users, and they were the source of compromise. And direct internet access bypasses existing security, because most of the existing security that probably you have implemented at this point is still centered around the campus. Nandun pa rin yung firewall, nandun pa rin yung mga appliances, and then your anti-malware is also there as well. It's also increasingly complex, and we are exposing ourselves to risk. It's challenging for both network and security to adapt to shifting threat vectors. It's an arms race. It's really an arms race between us and the bad people out there. No, there are so many attack surfaces, and there's so many ways for us to be attacked, whether it's an application, whether it's the network. And how do we protect users at the edge? Now, here's the other second problem. Yes, we are living in the multi-cloud world, but right now, we have a lean network and security team. No matter how many people we hire and train, and that in itself is a problem kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng turnover, how do you bring security to users from anywhere, any device, if we have a very lean security and networking team? The answer here is cloud scale security, which is really what SASE is all about. Now, SASE is about using the cloud, a highly scalable, worldwide accessible cloud to connect and secure workloads, remote workers, fixed locations, and devices. So as you can see in the diagram here, in contrast to the diagram a while ago, instead of concentrating all of your security capabilities and networking capabilities in the campus, we allow the branch office and the remote workers to connect to the internet, but securely and in a manner wherein security can be consistent wherever they are and whatever device and whatever applications they need to use. It also provides instant global coverage. So imagine, for example, if you have a single SASE platform that is cloud uh, of, of, uh, of, uh, of cloud scale, a cloud scale SASE platform, as you can see in this diagram, it doesn't really matter where the users are, and it doesn't really matter how many users and how many branch offices you have. You also have the ability to scale up, down, service levels, features, and connections. If you would like to use, for example, a certain capability of a function, you can use it on demand, or you cannot use it if you have to. Now, because you're operating on a single platform, it also provides you deep visibility and insights into not only your network, but also your applications to understand and remediate anomalies and incidents without you diagnosing it yourself. Let the platform understand, because a lot of these platforms use AI and machine learning, not only to diagnose problems, but to also perform self-healing as well. Now, as you saw from the diagram previously, there are two major SASE use cases. Why do we need SASE? Why are there projects and why are there many customers of ours in Cisco talking to us about SASE and wanting to shift over from a campus appliance data center centric security model to a cloud centric SASE model? It's really because number one, you've got the remote worker, which needs to have, like yourself, you need to have access to the data and apps everywhere you are. You need access to the internet. You need access to the cloud apps. And we also need to authenticate users and to make sure that they're using the appropriate device, and the device that they're using is secure enough for them to connect to the applications. Okay, so again, there are two major SASE use cases. You got the secure remote worker who needs to have remote connection, seamless connection to the apps and data anywhere in the network, and you've also got the edge users, meaning these are users that are located in your campus, your branch, your co-location, or even your hosted data centers. Not just physical data centers, but also your IaaS data centers in AWS and in Azure and in GCP as well. Now, remember, the title of this presentation is Your Journey is Unique. You have to do SASE your way. So I am hoping that after the end of this session, you will be able to realize that, yes, SASE is something that you need to do in the future, because there's simply no way for us to scale the amount of the security that we require and the amount of connectivity that we require based on the permanency of hybrid work. We're never going to go back. I firmly believe we're not going to go back to the way it was, where people were forced to work in an office. Everybody has already experienced 2 years worth of hybrid work. Students have already experienced 2 years worth of hybrid learning or learning remotely. So the future is going to be hybrid. But really, SASE isn't a set it and forget it solution. It's not an appliance that you configure once and then you leave it at B. So it's not like a Cisco router, a core router that once you set it, you're going to leave it running for the next 10 years. It needs to be evolving with your need. That's why we always need to think about SASE as a journey and not a destination. The first step in that journey is, of course, making sure that is SD-WAN, software-defined networking. And what is SD-WAN really? The traditional way of connecting our branches to the headquarters or to the data center is through the use of traditional connectivity using MPLS. The problem with this type of connectivity is that it becomes expensive over time. It no longer can keep up with the demand of high bandwidth required by each of the branch because of things such as um, because of things such as high HD video conferencing, things like HD video conferencing, high number of users, etc. So WAN links are becoming under increasing strain. On the other hand, other WAN technologies such as broadband, fiber, cellular are becoming more pervasive, and it's becoming cheaper. So right now, the telcos are now rolling out 5G. So 5G promises to super speed our internet connectivity and make it more affordable for everyone. So SD-WAN really wants to take advantage of the use of broadband connectivity. And we have many customers. Some of you are actually here in this session that are already doing SD-WAN, which means that all you need to have the branch is an internet connection. and the office is an internet connection. And the virtual connectivity that happens between those branches is managed via software. The branch users and remote users require direct connection to the internet, but how do they connect back to the branch? That is through the use of SD-WAN. And now, because it is already software defined, we can now use things such as advanced analytics to not just analyze the traffic across the SD-WAN network, but also make the SD-WAN network become more resilient over time. The more we understand the quality of the user experience, and the more we understand applications as they're running over the SD-WAN. Now, on the Meraki side of the house, because I represent Meraki in Cisco, this is how we do it. Each of the branches will require a SD-WAN appliance. So I don't want to go into details here, but we have many, many customers who have implemented these different models of SD-WAN appliances. And as you can see, the specifications of the spec of the devices also has firewall throughput, because it is also a firewall. Because the SD-WAN is the one that's facing the internet, it has to perform firewall capabilities as well. And we have also started to combine other capabilities. We have customers that requested or demanded that I don't want to have so many appliances on my branch. I want a single appliance that can connect to the internet via fiber, connect to the internet via 4G LTE, and will also need to provide Wi-Fi, and also need to provide power to other devices via power over Ethernet. That's why we have those devices as well. So we have devices for the small branch, the large branch, and or the campus concentrator. Now, for your applications that are currently on the cloud, we also virtualize the appliances and made it available for users to deploy on your choice of virtual machine, whether it's Linux or Windows. And then you can deploy that on Azure, on AWS, and GCP, so that lahat ng part ng network ninyo, whether the data center is or your application is actually sitting on an IaaS infrastructure in Azure, abot din ng SD-WAN. Now, for the home users, we also have this appliance called the Z3. It became popular to a lot of our finance customers and also our call center customers, which required them to have auto VPN. That's hardware-based, not software-based, hardware-based. Kung pagtusok mo ng equipment dito sa device na to, naka-VPN ka na kagad, naka-SD-WAN ka na kagad, papunta sa headquarters niya. So it also includes PoE and Wi-Fi. Now, for locations that does not have any wired internet connection, we have the Meraki Cellular Gateway. So, kailangan mo lang dito is 4G and LTE, so that you can, 4G LTE SIM. We're still working on a model that can, we're going to release one soon that uses 5G. But the point here is that if, let's say, you're in the middle of sa mundok, ang meron lang 4G LTE signal lang, wala naman fiber, wala naman broadband na connection, walang copper, this will be the one that will be providing your main connectivity. Now, the MX not just provides SD-WAN, but also it is also a device that provides security. Now, the thing about Meraki is that the reason why a lot of people love Cisco Meraki is that it's 100% cloud managed. You can use just a browser to manage any of the Meraki devices, including SD-WAN, Wi-Fi, and our IoT devices by just using the Meraki dashboard. And hence, that's kind of your stepping stone into SASE. So this is what it looks like in your network edge, in your campus. You would have a sizable Meraki MX device that will be able to accommodate thousands of SD-WAN connections at the same time. That same device is also an enterprise firewall. It also performs URL filtering. It performs anti-malware and also sandboxes the content. It is also an intrusion prevention system, and so on. Now, to connect to the site, your sites can be other branches, SaaS applications, private or public cloud endpoints, and also the internet. On the other side, kailangan din natin ng isang MX device, whether it's a physical or virtual device. The SD-WAN fabric is the one that takes care of the connectivity between these sites, and it already includes things such as the analytics and the automation required to provide the level of service and the level of SD-WAN efficiency that's required by customers. Now, let me add a couple of more elements here. Cloud-based security SASE, we deliver that through a product called Umbrella, which provides all of these services. And we also have Zero Trust or Z Secure Access. We provide that through a product called Cisco Duo. And I'm going to discuss more of that later on. So, yun yung una, is SD1. After you have established your SD1 connectivity, and mind you, again, choose your own adventure, do your own journey. We have many customers who does SD1 for some part of their network, and we have some customers who are still migrating away from traditional connectivity, mainly because may kontrata pa sila sa telco nila, no? Now, um, so once you've already had that SD1 established, you sort of kind of got your feet wet with SASE already, cloud managed name network more because of SD1. Now we can add zero trust network access, and that is delivered by Duo. Now, what is Duo? Duo does this, addresses this problem. Security risk persists. Password is the enemy. A huge majority of all breaches are leverage, stolen, or weak passwords. Okay, social engineering, ninakaw na password, or alam niya yung password, madaling hulaan. So therefore, there's multi-factor authentication technologies that are out there, such as push, soft token, SMS, tatawagan ka ng system to press 1 to continue to enter the application, and so on, wearables, and so on and so forth. But Duo is not just about multi-factor authentication. It's an adaptive MFA, so you can actually configure what type will you insist on MFA or multi-factor authentication on certain applications or certain hindi, or pag nasa LAN ka, hindi siya mag-multi-factor, pero pag nasa labas ka, mag-kick in yung multi-factor authentication. Not only does it do that, but it also does something called device posture and health. Ano ibig sabihin niya? The device that you're using to connect to the application or to the network, it actually checks, tama ba yung operating system? Do you have the latest patches? Do you have any malware that's installed in there? So enforce the endpoint and make sure that the endpoint is healthy before you connect to the network. It can also provide least privilege access. Di ba yun yung rule of thumb sa security? Kung ano lang yung kailangan mo, yun lang ang makukuha mo. Ensure that the security and posture at every application login. It also continues to verify not just the users, but also the devices that you're using. And finally, it does what is called behavior analytics. Okay, so it understands the way you use your application, where you normally connect from, what endpoints, what IP addresses, what networks. It detects and reports on those anomalous and unusual suspect login activities to the administrator. You can apply this on every user, on every device, on every type of application, whether it's an old application, whether it's a new web-based application. So Duo kind of sits here between that. So where do you apply Duo? Applications. If you would like to have access to SAP, multi-factor authentication muna, device posturing, and so on. Would you like to connect to the SD1? Before you establish the VPN connection, multi-factor authentication muna, and then device posturing, and so on. Okay, but now let's talk about Umbrella. What does Umbrella do? Umbrella is a solution that is the linchpin of our SASE story. First is that it provides DNS layer security. Everything begins and ends with the DNS, correct? Pag umaccess ka sa internet, kahit anong application, hindi naman IP address ang ibibigay mo. Ang ibibigay mo is the address of that application, which is usually implemented using the HTTPS protocol. So in the process of interpreting that URL into an IP address, that's where sometimes, or even most of the time, things get broken. So you can stop the threats before the traffic reaches your network. It's also a cloud-based secure web gateway, including role-based implementations, file controls, application control. So you can, for example, enforce policy to block advanced threats. It's also a layer 7, up to a layer 7 cloud delivered firewall. So hindi ka lang may firewall sa network ninyo facing the internet via the MX, but you also have a firewall that's fully scalable kasi nga cloud scale nga siya across all sites, stopping non-web-based threats. It's also a cloud access security broker, what colleagues like to call CASB. Ang ginagawa ng CASB is that whenever you try to access a web service, such as, for example, Salesforce or Office 365, it will be able to detect that from the user standpoint. Now, remember, you have users that are connecting directly to the internet. So sa bahay nila, papunta sila sa internet, papunta doon sa application. So paano mo makokontrol yan? Umbrella can do that by forcing the user to connect to Umbrella first, and then Umbrella checks what applications are you trying to access, whether you have access to that application or not. Because of our integration with SecureX, you have visibility across entire security stack, and you also have automated actions. It also has interactive threat intelligence, real-time threat, expediting incident investigation and response. So interactive threat intel. So lahat ng nangyayari sa network nyo, napapalabas sa internet or papasok from the internet, alam ng Cisco umbrella, even internal traffic as well. I forgot to mention that our cloud access broker also includes data leakage protection or DLP. So for example, are your employees, my favorite example here is, nagpapadala ba yung employees mo ng Excel spreadsheet na dapat hindi nila pinapadala through Gmail or through through the other messaging service? Are they sending confidential files over Viber? Malalaman natin yan because of Cisco umbrella. So today, this is what typically happens. So you got a remote user that uses the VPN agent. So mag-VPN agent siya. Yung VPN agent na to, let's say like Cisco Connect, will connect to the VPN gateway, which will then provide connectivity to your applications running in your private data center. Now, kung sakaling meron kayong applications that are actually running on Google Cloud, AWS, or Azure, the private data center then provides that backhaul into your applications in IaaS. Whereas your SaaS applications like Box, Salesforce, and Office 365, bina-bypass niya yung VPN. Dumediretso siya papunta sa applications na to. Now, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? It depends. Okay? Again, it depends on how you've structured your security. Some customers don't like this. Some customers are okay with this. Now, what Umbrella does is that before you connect to things such as the internet or SaaS, Umbrella comes in and then, for example, implements firewall policies, implements the CASB policies to ensure that you're accessing the right application at the right time. So kung may access ka kung let's say sa bahay, kung may access ka sa, kung let's say sa bahay, walang umbrella, personal internet connection mo, may access ka sa Dropbox. If you use the AnyConnect, in this case, the secure client, as mandated by your organization to connect to the same Dropbox account, hindi ka napapayagan. Because umbrella is coming in and saying, hey, you know what? Company policy does not allow you to connect to Dropbox. So that's where the umbrella capabilities come in. And then dagdagan mo pa ng Duo. Ibig sabihin ng Duo, remember, Duo is what? Does two major things. Multi-factor authentication and what? In device posturing. So for example, if you're trying to access Salesforce or Office 365, not only will Umbrella protect the way you access those applications to ensure first if you have access to those applications. And if you do, an additional layer of security will come in. Kung multi-factor kayo, let's say Duo will say you need to install a Duo app in your phone and you need to use the biometric features of your phone, whether it's a fingerprint or Face ID in the case of some Android or iOS phones, to access Office 365. So here's a visual representation of that. Okay. And then, check niya pala kung yung ginagamit mong PC or device, okay siya, up to date ba yung Windows OS mo and so on. So pag nakita ng Duo that your Windows OS does not have the latest updates, it's not going to allow you to even access Office 365. Okay, and then you can do things such as doing reverse proxy so that you can then have access to essentially your intranet because some of your applications are running on the public cloud. Running on a public cloud but needs to be accessed within the network, which again, normally you go through a private backhaul to the IaaS, but because of SD-WAN, you can actually get rid of, it's actually possible for you to get rid of this. So the diretso ka na sa internet, but you have Umbrella and Duo to ensure that your applications are accessed the right way. Now, all of the security capabilities that we have so far talked about, whether it's in the Meraki MX devices, SD-WAN, in Duo or Umbrella, are backed up by a team called Cisco Talos. We have over 400 plus full-time threat researchers and scientists analyzing 1.5 million unique malware samples per day. We block over 20 billion threats daily, more than 20 times any other vendor. Okay, so there's simply nobody in the industry that can match what we could do as far as threat expertise and security expertise is concerned. So whenever you implement any of these solutions, you're essentially using Cisco Talos capabilities as well. Now, one other piece of the puzzle is managed device, mobile device management. So let's talk about the device naman. So a user, we have something, an example is Meraki Systems Manager. It's an endpoint systems manager, cloud only, and it does some of these things. It provisions um, things such as Wi-Fi policies, VPN policies, email access policies to the device. It monitors the device and provides you with global visibility, whether it's an iOS, Chrome OS, Windows device, Mac OS. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, Chrome OS, we support that as well. Um, it's also secure, so any of those devices, whether it's recovered or missing, you can recover or wipe those devices. It has very tight integration with Cisco and Meraki, and conditional network and data access. So let me give you some examples of what it can do across these platforms. So you can do things such as detect device onboarding, seeing what type of operating system, ano ba yung operating system na tumatakbo sa device na yan. Is encryption enabled? Is the screen lock enabled? On my online status niya? What is the network? What are the network details? I can implement things such as password policies, forcing credentials, allowing or disallowing this device to connect to certain SSIDs in the Wi-Fi. I can push applications. I can also allow or disallow applications to run on the device itself. Hindi pa kumo-connect sa network tong device na to. So that's where kind of umbrella comes in. But when you use this, once na apply na yung policy dun sa device mismo, you can actually tell the device not to run certain types of applications for security reasons. Administration management. So on the single console, you can actually see the operating systems, the operating systems, the details of those devices. You can live troubleshoot yung current memory usage nga, yung current processor usage ng application, kita mo din, asset management, live troubleshooting, and so on. The next one, so, okay, let's take a quick review. So SD-WAN, yung mga network-defined na, cloud-managed na yung network connectivity mo. Dinagdagan mo ng zero trust network access, multi-factor authentication, device posturing using Duo. Tapos dinagdagan pa natin ng layer 7 firewall, layer 7 firewall sa umbrella. Dinagdagan pa natin ng cloud access security broker and all of those other stuff from umbrella. And then yung device mismo, minamanage din natin using systems manager. As you saw a while ago, you can do a lot of stuff with it. Now, what about observability? Ano ibig sabihin ng observability? Ano ba yung nakikita natin sa network? Cisco, we acquired a company called Thousand Eyes, and it does, for this particular purpose, a number of things. It detects things such as application performance. So let's say you are a remote user connecting to your network via SD-WAN using a Meraki device. So naka-SD-WAN ka from where you are to the network. And then suddenly the application that you have that's running on AWS suddenly has a problem, biglang bumagal. Okay? Normally, people will say, network mo yan ang problema. But sigurado ko bang network mo yung may problema? Are you sure that it's the network? Maybe it's the application. So what Thousand Eyes is capable of doing is looking at not just the network performance, but also the app performance. There are many reasons why an app will run slowly. It may be your network at home. It may be your upstream network. It may be your telco. It may be the application itself. It may be the peering of the telco to your cloud provider or to the cloud provider itself. So Thousand Eyes will give that visibility. It also does things such as path visualization, pinpoint issues down to a service provider. Pwede nga sabihin na, actually hindi problema yung internet mo. Ang problema dyan yung AWS. Kasi yung peering mo sa AWS, at this particular point, pumagal. Internet and One Health. BGP route monitoring for network analysis. So you want to ensure that your internet routing issues, minsan kasi, yun ang effect like yung BGP peering ng network mo doon sa network iba, hindi maayos. So Thousand Eyes will be able to tell you that, and also be able to sit, be in the shoes of the remote worker. Ano ba yung experience ng remote worker while ina-access yung business app? So that's what Thousand Eyes can do. Now, let me now introduce to you a concept of the network as a service. Ngayon kasi lahat tayo nandito halos lahat ng standalone devices. Bibili tayo ng firewall, bibili tayo ng edge network device, and so on. Everything is concentrated on your data center. Again, like I said, kawawa naman yung mga users mo na nasa remote, kawawa yung mga branches mo. Kasi lahat nagko-concentrate sa campus, pwede naman silang dumiretso sa internet. Pag dumiretso naman sila sa internet, paano ma-ensure yung security nila? Now, at that point, you realize that there are many solutions that are cloud-based SASE that can allow you to provide security consistently across many users, across many locations. Okay, so what I'm trying now, once you, for example, start with on your SASE journey, let's say you start with SD1, cloud tethered. Ibig sabihin ng cloud tethered is you have a physical device on-prem to facilitate your connectivity and your security to the cloud. But that thing is managed and powered by the cloud, as you saw a while ago. An example is Meraki MX, the MX SD1. Now it can lead you to something called XaaS, the network as a service. Lahat yan pwedeng as a service, as you can see here. So let me now introduce to you something that we have launched recently called Cisco Plus Secure Connect. Delivery SASE beyond. So remember, nag-start tayo sa standalone devices, tapos may standalone device na bibilin mo pa, tapos meron kang license. So if you're a Meraki customer, you understand what this means. You have to buy an SD1 device and then you pay for a license to use the service that would power that device. Umbrella and Duo are all, and Thousand Eyes are completely cloud-based and completely subscription-based. Cisco Plus Secure Connect is a new service that combines all of this in one service, in one platform. So think of Duo, ZTNA, cloud security, remote access as a service, or your SD1, united as one. Okay? Isang platform, one subscription, one payment per user, monthly. Okay? And then you can choose where it scales from anywhere between 50 users to 350 users, 50,000 users at this point. And it lowers your total cost of ownership because the vision is this is going to be the future, both for your branches that require SD1 and for your remote access users. Since co-connect sila lahat sa internet, you have a single platform, which is Cisco Plus Secure Connect, that combines Duo, Umbrella, Meraki, Thousand Eyes into a single platform, a single cloud dashboard, end-to-end application observability, whether your endpoint or whether the other point is the internet, public or private cloud, your own data center or software as a service. So here's a mock-up, or not really a mock-up, but a small, but a screenshot of what it's envisioned to look like. Sa isang dashboard, kita mo na lahat. Duo, remote access, DNS, CASB, and then your networking statistics in one access. So ikaw, hindi ka na bibili ng appliance. Siguro bibilin mo na lang appliance yung Meraki na kailangan niya dun sa endpoint, because you still need an appliance to connect to the internet. But everything else in between, because it's SASE, you can now see it in a single dashboard, in a single subscription. Now, I just want to show this to you for illustration purposes, but Secure Plus Secure Connect, Cisco Plus Secure Connect, I'm sorry, it's a mouthful. Meron din iba-ibang tiers. Now again, SASE your way, di ba? Kung ano yung kailangan nyo, yun ang piliin niyo. Like for example, you might be saying that, okay, I'm sold on SD1, gusto ko ng SD1, pero nakasubscribe pa ako sa multi-factor authentication ng Microsoft. Am I forced to go to Duo? No, not really. You can apply Duo later on. Or you can say na, meron pa akong anti-malware solution from another vendor that I haven't finished subscribing. So do I need to use the anti-malware solution that is currently in Umbrella right now? Pwede ko bang gamitin yung Umbrella as secure internet gateway lang or remote browser isolation? Absolutely. Again, choose your own adventure. It's up to you which one you want to consume the service and what type of services is applicable to you at this particular point in your SASE journey. Now, the great thing and the beautiful thing about a cloud service is that everything is available as a trial. So lahat ng nakita nyo kanina, we would typically bring the customer in this type of journey. First trial muna. You use maybe 2 or 5 days to validate the product. And then let's say Umbrella and Duo. Okay? Very easy for us to deploy a proof of concept. Kasi nga cloud. Once you order the service, Cisco, you can now enable for your organization, but you don't need to enable all of the services for your organization. Pwedeng mag-start ka muna sa remote workers. Or pwede mag-start ka muna sa ibang branches. Once you get used to the service and once you more and more of your legacy services goes offline or hindi nyo na kailangan, then you start adopting more and more of the cloud service. Okay? So again, your journey is unique. You do SASE your way. Let me give you a few more examples. Here's one example of a path that people choose. Consolidate ko muna yung networking and security ko. Kasi dati, hiwa-hiwalay yan eh. Even organizations today, there are network and security teams that are separate. The person in charge of the firewall is completely different from the person in charge of the router. In which in our opinion should not be kasi kailangan magkasama yan eh. So the line between network and security is now becoming blurred, especially when you look at it from a security lens. So if you're a Meraki customer, you can start connecting your MX to Umbrella right now. So if you're a Meraki customer, you can go to the Meraki dashboard and you can see there's a button there that says use Umbrella SIG, and boom, after 3 hours, you're now protected via Umbrella from your MX, right? And then you can now start choosing the service that you want. Dagdagan mo ng umbrella, dagdagan mo ng duo, which in itself, there are multiple sub-services as well, depending on which path you choose. Again, choose your own adventure. Again, I don't know if most of you understand what the book that I was making kwenta a while ago, but ikaw ang pipili kung saan mo gusto pumunta next, right? So here's an example. So let's say you've got a data center and you got the branches and both are connected by Meraki MX. So taking care of the SD1 fabric, everything is hunky-dory, managed by the cloud. You can see the traffic in between and so on. Now, maybe you could first deploy DNS layer security kasi alam naman natin lahat na DNS is probably the weakest point pagdating sa network. Okay? So, subscribe to the umbrella service to protect your DNS. And then maybe add HTTPS inspection and control cloud-delivered firewall and secure web gateway. So, hindi lahat ng umbrella, pinili mo lang yung kailangan mo. Say, nagdagdag ka ng firewall, nagdagdag ka ng SWG, or secure web gateway because meron ka pa nung iba. Hindi mo pa kailangan i-on. So the result is, you now have Umbrella, all of these components, many of components of Umbrella protecting your network, and you still have access to the internet and SaaS security. So cloud managed SD1 security policies and cloud scale security for unlimited scalability. Here's some screenshots on how this would look like. This is where you manage your auto VPN. This is where you manage your SD1 policies, and you can even see performance monitoring. In this case, this is Meraki Insight. There was a question that popped out a while ago. I would say that the quick answer there is Meraki Insights gives you a superficial, high-level view of access to your SaaS applications, but Thousand Eyes does way more. Okay, it does way more. It not just looks at the application, but also multiple layers in the network. So you can see umbrella naman ito, the total DNS request and the total DNS security blocks. And then you enabled HTTPS inspection. And then because you enabled CASB, monitor mo na yung activity ng mga users ninyo as far as their access to cloud-based applications. Here's another case. What if you've got users out there that are using a myriad of devices, iOS, Android, Windows Mobile, macOS, and so on and so forth? Pwede nating lagyan ng Meraki Systems Manager. Okay? And dagdagan natin ang umbrella. Why do we want to do that? Because not only do we want to protect the devices and ensure that those devices are within device usage is within your policy, like anong applications ang pwede nilang gamitin, hindi pwedeng gamitin, but you also want to ensure that their access to security is protected as well via umbrella. So how does this work? You can push applications and manage those applications. You can geo-fence devices. That's one capability of Systems Manager. Like, may customer ako, yung mga iPad nila, the moment na lumabas sa network, nadi-disable. Pero pagbalik sa network, na-enable ulit. That's what you call geo-fencing. DNS config and configuration, security certificate management, managing DNS policies. Application discovery, like you will discover like what applications or your users are accessing from the internet. Mag-access ba sila ng games? So nakita mo na, gumagamit pa sila ng games, nakikita mo, and so on. You can put in DNS policies on your Meraki dashboard. You can look at the events and then block certain sites from being accessed. In this case, not just the SD-WAN, but also the Wi-Fi. So just to summarize, again, like I said a while ago, I hope you agree with me, and please give me a thumbs up sign for those of you who are using the thumbs up signal. Is we're never gonna go back to we're never gonna go back to normal work. Everybody nasanay na sa hybrid, no? Hybrid learning, hybrid working. So SASE, as you saw in my short presentation a while ago, should be sustaining hybrid work. You empower work from anywhere. You can secure applications wherever they are, whether it's in the public cloud or in your data center. And you also increase operational efficiency. You don't have to manage devices anymore. You can stay agile because these cloud services are always updated, they're always current, and you can scale. And because all of them are subscription-based cloud services. So SASE your way to us really means simplifying with a single vendor with integrated solutions, leveraging your existing investments to ease with the transition. If you're an existing Cisco or Meraki customers, you're already on your way. Madali na. Okay? Kasi pwede ka na mag-start. But again, you won't need to consume everything in one go. Choose a consumption model that suits you best. Meron mga iba nagsasabi na, hindi ako boto sa SASE kasi ang bagal ng internet namin eh. Fine, we still have solutions that will still be able to provide you with SASE-like capabilities, except that you're running it on your own data center or your campus. You can secure all users and devices anywhere. Now, here's some points to ponder, just to summarize the entire session. I apologize for getting a disconnection a while ago. It's a multi-cloud world. Okay, if I can see you right now, I can probably see you say nodding or doing this and say, yep, I agree, Herns. It's a multi-cloud world. We're going crazy and we're adopting the cloud like crazy and ever before. We don't have enough resources ourselves for security and networking, let alone supporting users. How do we consistently secure remote users and branches while providing the best possible hybrid work experience for anybody who can choose to work from anywhere, whether it's in the office, in the home, or in the campus? We need cloud-powered and cloud-scaled networking, zero trust access, security, observability, device management, control. Those are all the components of SASE. And all of that should be simple, on demand, leading edge, and affordable. And then you should think to yourself that, yeah, we can do SASE, but we can do it our way. We can choose our own adventure. A lot of the points that were suggested, that were mentioned in this presentation, are actually found in a couple of ebooks. So here's a QR code that that probably you can you can capture and then access this ebook. It's called Explore Your SASE Side. Here's another free ebook. Please take a picture of this or scan and save the URL. Realize your SASE your way to Cisco. So a lot of the points that I mentioned here, without even asking me for the presentation, nandyan na sa mga ebooks na yan. It's PDF, you can download it by PDF. And if you're the type of type of a person that has a little bit of a short attention span, who cannot sit through a 30-minute or 60-minute presentation, there are Meraki SASE sessions, bite-sized webinars, anywhere between 5 to 7-minute videos. Just register in this URL as indicated by this QR code so that you can get access to those on-demand videos to understand more about SASE and how you can strike your own journey to SASE, choosing your own adventure. Okay. Again, wherever you are, we can help. This is my final marketing slide. Cisco has been a leader in zero trust for 2 years running. We're number one in cybersecurity market share, number one. Okay. Overall in cybersecurity market share, we have the largest commercial threat intelligence team in the guise of our Cisco Talos team. We protect 100% of the Fortune 500, and we are the largest SD-WAN solution providers. Now, only Cisco can combine all of these 5 capabilities. So let me go back. Networking, CTNA, security, observability, device management, control. We're the only ones that combine all of that into a single on-demand, simple, and affordable service. Okay. Right. So thank you very much. Here's my personal favorite. When I was a kid, inulit-ulit ko tong book na to, The Race Forever. Again, it's a choose your own adventure book. If you have a I-google nyo na lang mamaya kung ano yung choose your own adventure. But once you get it, you will understand what I mean. So I wish you all the best in your SASE journey. Again, it's not a destiny, it's a journey, not a destination. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.